Oh, the World Championships, guys. I got to tell you, I have not slept in days, and I'm on a high. I'm not tired. The World Championships come along one time a year, and if you're a wrestling fan, of the 52 weeks in a year, the Worlds are 1 week. You spend the other 51 weeks getting ready for the 52nd week, the week of the World Championships. Why haven't I slept? So this year they're in Croatia, which, by the way, they just were 2 years ago. Croatia does a great job with it, but got a time zone issue. So the first round, right, the very first whistle is 4:30 Eastern time. I live in Oregon. So it's 1:30. See, if it was 4:30, I could get a couple of hours. But at 1:30, I'm a night owl anyway. I'm up, so I'm screwed. So I watch from 1:30 to 4, and then you have a break until Pacific time, 10 a.m. I'm sharing this because it's been awesome. I don't regret it. I never regret it. I look forward to it. I get up every single year. I watch every single match, and I'm going to go in weight class order, not the order that it actually happened in for you diehard fans before you think you have to correct me, but let's just start with Spencer Lee. Now, Spencer got put in one of the more precarious and difficult positions, the most difficult of the entire team, but one of the most difficult positions of anybody on a team in 20 years, which is every single media source picked him to win. They thought it was nice. They thought it was accurate. He's the most dominant wrestler in the world. He's wrestled all of these guys. He's destroyed everybody in the world except for the Japanese guy who, by the way, did not enter the tournament. May or may not be retired. Spencer Lee, for perspective, technical falled his way to the Olympic finals. He teched the guy in the semi-final. There was nobody that could touch him except a Japanese guy who didn't enter because he may or may not be retired. Oh, you know what? No, he went and did porn. I'm not joking. This is not a joke. That guy went and now does homosexual porn. So he is I'm not joking right now. That's what ended up happening to that guy. So Spencer goes out, but everybody's saying he's going to win. When everybody says you're going to win, I got to tell you, it's not a favor. It's not a favor at all. So Spencer ends up, not only is it going to be a difficult tournament to win, they've even broken it down. There's only one guy that can even possibly compete with him, and we won't see him until the semifinals. I read this every day from every publication from the moment the trials to the World Championship happened. For 2 months, no one could touch Spencer. The draws, or the seeds rather, finally come out. But even before the draws, the seeds come out, and we realize RBY will be 4 on the same side as Spencer, who's 1. There's your semis. Oh, by the way, RBY, because of his familiarity, could pose a potential problem for Spencer. Meaning he's going to get his ass kicked by Spencer, but it might not be a finish. I mean, this is the way that people wrote the story. Well, it's the World Championships. Every country, 168 different countries, all have the opportunity to send one human, their best. So Armenia sends a guy. And when you get a guy from Armenia, first off, that's a tough country that's good at wrestling. Freestyle and Greco-Roman. But when you get an Armenian, you don't know for sure if you've got the Armenian. By example, if you went and followed the Armenian nationals and you find who their champion is, okay, well, that's their best guy. That's not for sure who they're going to send. They might buy a passport from Russia. They might send a Russian because all you got to do is have a passport. That's how the rule reads. It's a little bit of a mistake by the International Olympic Committee, but it's officially what the rule reads. You are supposed to be a nationalist of that country, but the way the rule reads is you must have a government-issued passport from that country. So technically, you could be from anywhere, and in that part of the world, they will often trade passports. They'll buy them. There's certain money. Bahrain has got a world and Olympic champion in wrestling. Bahrain doesn't have wrestling, but they have an Olympic champion in wrestling. All right, so Spencer draws this Armenian. The dude turns out to be a stone-cold gangster. And I mean, Spencer, in all fairness, is as good as the information that he's been given. If all I've read since the trials is that Spencer can walk through everybody, I mean, you don't think that that's going to set in, so you go out, you find yourself in a match harder than you were told it's going to be. That is when every upset in the history of sport happens, not just this one. It could be Michael Phelps getting beat in the pool. You find yourself in a competition harder than you thought it was going to be. So we run into this Armenian, and the match just gets away. The match just gets away from us. The Armenian ends up not making the finals. The way this bracketing works, the bracket is very goofy and it's very hard to explain. But the way that works, if the guy that beat you does not make it to the gold medal match, you're out. If he does, you're back in. All right, Spencer's out. Armenian's going for bronze. We'll move up. David Carr. Now, David Carr ended up fourth. But I have only seen David Carr in my life lose one match that David Carr wanted to win before the match. And I don't mean want to, I don't mean he preferred to win. There is two David Carrs. And it takes a lot mentally to make sure the right one shows up. But he has an ability to do this. I swear to goodness, it's like watching Popeye eat his spinach. It's like Clark Kent when he comes out of the booth and has ripped his shirt off. There is a different David Carr. And I've only seen him lose one match that he had decided he did not want to lose. And it was actually for the bronze medal today against Sidakov, of which David Carr wrestled amazing. But it was his first time to the World Championships. He's better than he's aware. It's one of these things that a lot of athletes go through this, but he's better than he's aware. And many of us, myself included, had a feeling going into the Worlds that David's either going to win the damn thing, which he just might have done. But if he doesn't get first, he's not gonna place anywhere, and the whole experience is going to have to get chalked up to experience, of which historically he has proven that he needs every now and again to then come back and do all sorts of great things. And that's exactly the way it played out. I can't say enough good about the way that he wrestled. It is the most competitive weight in the world right now. He finished fourth. It was something he should be very proud of. My favorite wrestler, Levi Haynes, walks through the first day, but boy, was it a gauntlet. In an age group silver medalist, he had a former world champion, takes them all out. And they run straight through, they give him no break. They got to give him the opening round, round of 16, quarters and semis, back to back to back to back. And then you get a little rest and you come out for the finals. And he ran into a hammer in the finals. And there's many times that an American will lose, and it'll be very frustrating because they won't lose by Americans' standards. They'll get what's called out freestyled, where they're the one under the attack, they're pushing the action, they're doing everything, and somewhere their own momentum exposes, gives the other guy some amount of points, which ends up allowing him to win the match. And it can just be frustrating. Just be frustrated as an American. I will admit for you that is not what happened with Levi Haynes. He was out wrestled, and I'm happy he was. He made it a fight, which he has to do. He did. He did everything that he was supposed to do. He just had 1 point less than the other guy when time ran out. But it was the right call. It was the right tournament. It was the right performance. There's nothing about it that I would look back and be angry and or regret. Go to Zahed. Now, Rich Bender himself made a point on Zahed. I'm going to steal Rich Bender's line, but Rich nailed it. And Rich said, look, he had a harder time getting here than he had getting the gold once he was here. But it would be difficult for me to explain to you how hard it is to win a world championship in wrestling. In boxing and in MMA, it's hard enough, but you can get the opportunity. I'm not saying that people do. I'm saying you can, per the rules. You can get the opportunity if you got a relationship somewhere where the guy will give you an opportunity. You could get it just based on favoritism. You could. In wrestling, you cannot. They will spend an entire year whittling down everybody on earth that raised their hand and said, I want a chance. They will whittle it down in your city before they go to your state, before they go to your nation, before they go to your continent, before you get to the actual world championship. It is just a very difficult, it is a true world championship. That term gets thrown out in so many other sports. Just gets thrown out. In wrestling, it gets thrown out one time for one guy once a year, and that is after he has beaten everybody that ever raised their hand and said, I want a shot. It really is an honorable event. So when Zahed gets to this type of an event and his total score, the total of his points versus what he gave up was 48-0. You're going to read it was 49. They're wrong. It was 48. 48-0. He's the world champion. He destroyed a two-time world champion just to get to the finals. I mean, he was the most dominant. He will be or should be the outstanding wrestler. He will be or should be voted #1 pound for pound wrestler in the world. Which for a guy that 15 months ago could not and did not make the team. 15 months ago, he was not good enough to get out of the country to even be the representative in the tournament, which, by the way, sounds a little more harsh than it is. It's very hard to get out of America. But he wasn't. And now nobody on earth can score a point on him. And he gave 5 of the best guys in a 24-hour period a chance. And none of them could get one. I'm not talking about beat the son of a bitch, get a point on him. It is a difficult thing to explain what an achievement that was. Go up to Headley. So there's going to be 8 guys that win world championships. And then you're going to have this debate over who is the best. Then you're going to have a debate over what weight was the most difficult. Then you're going to have the real jerks, right? The real jerks that are going to try to make Olympic weights more valuable than non-Olympic weights, which is a conversation that I will not even hear over here. But go ahead and do it. It's all part of the game. I do not believe we will have any debate if I change the word. If I ask you who the best wrestler is, he should be in a very small group, a very small amount of other medals they gave out that are gold. But if I change the word to the toughest guy in the tournament, if I change it to the fighter of the tournament, if I change it to the most intense, if I change it to the highest pace, if I change that word to who was the most determined in the entire world, I think everybody would stand back and say, Trent Headley. Just that simple. He was so mean, and he's looking for a fight. He's just looking for one. So if you can go out and you can get a point on him, you're going to start to make him mad. If you get 2 points on him, you're going to piss him off. You get 4 or 5 points on him, you better just take cover now. Because the way that he is going to respond is so incredibly violent and competitive and explosive. Truly a remarkable performance. All right, guys, I've had it with you all. I got a name drop real fast. All right, I got Felters is calling me, so I'm going to be talking some wrestling, and he won't want to be recorded, so I need to turn this off. I will give you more of an update tomorrow. Oh, Felters hung up on me. What a prick.